Hey, Magic friends, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Captain Clyde's MTG News. Got a little something different today. First off, we do have another spoiler for All for One, All is One, whatever, Three Musketeers, you know, all that good jazz. But anyway, I also want to go over some Pokemon prices for a sealed product because I think it's gonna be a very interesting look at how Pokemon is comparing to Magic and the difference between the two. To kind of give you guys a little bit of insight. But before we get started, don't forget like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Try and get to 1,000 subs. I appreciate anybody's help. So, without further ado, let's first talk about the one spoiler that snuck out on Sunday toward the end of the day, and it's an interesting one. What we have here is the Soulless Jailer. It's an interesting picture. For two colorless, you get an 0-4 creature. It says permanent cards and graveyards can't enter the battlefield. Players can't cast non-creature spells from the graveyard. This is very interesting. It's a very interesting card because it's a creature. It's easy to kill, but in the current environment, there's so much graveyard shenanigans, and I also say that because there's unearth and everything else going on, that this could put a stop to a lot of the silliness. Things can't get cast out of the graveyard from like the arcane proxy. Um, you can't bring stuff back with unearth. If you play um, the Phyrexian card, I forget what it's called now. Um, the artifact for 9 colorless, it makes everybody sacrifice all their stuff. Well, sacrifice 3 creatures and you get one back every turn. Um, because it uh, is trying to pull something out of the graveyard and put it into play, it actually shuts that down. Now the drawback is if they're playing more than one or they kill this, it does activate again, but it does give you a way to stop it other than just killing the artifact. So this is a very interesting card for me. I think it does have some play in standard, definitely at least in sideboards. Um, Also, maybe even in modern, um, Pioneer, like all the formats except for modern might be a little iffy because modern's already got a lot of good graveyard hate. That's not creatures. That might be better than this. It's another card for commander that can stop shenanigans. Um, it's very interesting, and because it's an artifact, that makes it even better because a lot of decks have artifact synergies. Or Phyrexian. I'm sure there's Phyrexian decks out there as well. So this is a very interesting card as a rare, which makes me think there's going to be a lot of interesting things coming out that this card's going to need to kind of help mitigate. So at best, it'll be main deck one or two of. At worst, this thing's going to be in sideboards. So I think it's easily going to be a $2 to $3 card. Um, just in the general sense, maybe even $5 depending how the format shapes up. So very interesting card to get as a spoiler. Now, with that said, if you don't want to hear about the Pokemon stuff, you can go ahead and shut it off now. But the Pokemon stuff is going to be related to Magic, because what I want to talk about right now is the difference between Pokemon sealed boxes and Magic sealed boxes, because it's a big contrast. Excuse me for coughing. It's a big contrast going on. So first off, let's just take a look at this. So what we have here is we have Silver Tempest. This is the newest Pokemon set that's come out lately. As you can see here on TCG, it's up to around 117.50 ish. You can see here, it started out around 110. This is probably an abnormality. And then it's come back up and it steadily went up. So this is in the past 3 months. There has not been a standard set in Magic that has held this kind of value in the first 3 months of the set. I mean, you literally can go back and look, and almost all the standard sets are around what their starting price was, or even cheaper, because Amazon dumps and other things are just jacking the market up. So the fact that the average market price of this stuff is around 120 is really kind of insane, especially for Pokemon. Um, so as we keep looking, this isn't just a one-time thing, right? So if we look at the set right after it, Lost Origin boxes, they're at 124. They're even a little higher. And you could see here, they started off around the 110 mark, and they have done nothing but increase over the last 3 months. This is also very interesting. That's 2 products in a row. So, as we continue to look, you will also notice that the one after this, which is Asphalt Radiance, a lot more up and down. A lot of that's probably because of the naysayers and what have you, but lately, giant spike up above the 115, much like the other products. So, the reason I wanted to show you guys this is I'm not trying to promote Pokemon per se, but the one thing I do want to bring attention to is the difference between Pokemon and Magic and their sealed product. What Magic is doing, Magic is pumping out more cards and flooding the market with product, product, product. Pokemon has bought a printer and actually scaled back their printing because of bad market demands. And that's causing their products to go up. So you can see the difference between these 2 kinds of approaches in the market to what really happens when you have an actual demand for supply versus a supply for little demand. So it seems like most other places, Pokemon in particular currently, have figured out the right way to keep their product high by not overproducing, while Wizards and Magic can't seem to get their head out of their butts because they think if they just keep printing, it will always be sold. And they're finding out very quickly that is not the case, and they're suffering because of it, and so is the product. So, and even with this, there's been reprints. Let's talk about Chilling Reign for a second. Chilling Reign was supposed to be a god awful set that was, went down to nothing and what have you, and they've had to reprint it several times, and it's up above that. If you look at this is Brilliant Stars. 182 a box in the last 3 months. Now it was down here around this area, around 165. It has went up $15 and people are buying it. Their Pokemon has went back and even reprinted older boxes and older sets because the box prices got so high. They started when the boxes got to about 300. Pokemon went back and reprinted those sets to put them back in the market to lower the prices down. But what they didn't do is they didn't flood the market to bottom the price out like we saw with Jumpstart. So the original Jumpstart was up around $300-400 because of all the supply demands. But then once they got the supply demand fixed, instead of just putting out just enough, they put out so much that the boxes of Jumpstart dropped down to $80. Like they just destroyed the market. And this is the kind of stuff that's going to make stores just not succeed and cause them to fold. Things right now I think are keeping most LGSs alive are these other card games, not Magic, because the other card games are actually selling well and selling better than Magic when it comes to a net profit gain. They may sell more Magic, but they're still, even though they sell more Magic, they make less money than what they sell on Pokemon or Flesh and Blood or anything else because of the market. So, with that said, Evolving Skies, Chilling Styles, Chilling Reign, and all that stuff, they're not going to reprint any more of those. So those box prices are already up around 200. They're going to keep going up now. Now Tempest, Brilliant, Lost, like we just looked at, those will probably get reprints. But as you can see, they're already up to 120, 130. This is 180. Another reprint to the market's not going to kill anything. And the funniest thing about all this, when's the last time you heard about a Pokemon tournament? I mean, maybe I'm just out of the loop, but I know about Flesh and Blood tournaments and My Hero Academia. I don't hear about Pokemon tournaments like we used to back in the day. This is literally a game of people just collecting it for chase cards because they like it. It doesn't get played like Magic or the other games do, but yet it's holding a higher value. And for me, that should be something that terrifies Wizards of the Coast, because there's not a lot of people who will collect the new stuff just because it's new stuff. They collect it to play with it. So with Pokemon, it's not to play, it's just to collect. because they want the chase stuff. They want the cool things. That sentiment isn't really in Magic like it used to be. So it's really weird, this weird dichotomy we got going. And I think this is a good example, just to bring up Pokemon, of what you should be doing with a card game versus what Magic does and Wizards of the Coast Hasbro is what you shouldn't be doing with a card game when it comes to print runs and what have you. Because again, there's only a couple, chase cards in Pokemon. They don't have 12,000 different variants. So, with that said, um, take it for what you will, but it's very interesting retrospect. Go out there, take a look up the different sets. Feel free. It's very interesting to see. What's that mean in the long game? Well, it might mean that older Magic cards are gonna still be gold, and new Magic cards not so much because they just keep reprinting, right? So with all that said, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I do appreciate it. If you want to hear about anything else or have me compare it to anything else with Magic and what have you, or how other products are doing, feel free to ask. With that said, until next time, be kind, and I hope to see you across from the game table.